do you still remember that the moment that you decided, like, look, I want to jump into coaching full time? Like, what was your frame of thought there? Like,
Yeah.
was this like a gamble? Was this just like, okay, I just like to do this? Like, do you remember the decision that you made of? I know that in for sure in the States we don't talk about pro coaching, but yeah, it's a full time investment for sure. So can
Yeah.
you talk a bit about that choice that you made there?
Yeah, mine was actually the opposite randomly. And I vividly remember I went to school at UC Santa Barbara. I tried to play volleyball. I got cut. I was grateful and thankful that the women's team actually asked me to come and be a practice player at first and then a volunteer assistant. And I remember walking around campus and I vividly remember exactly where I am. Like our practice gym was here. I was also a teaching assistant and it was over here. And I was kind of in between either walking to or from. And I remember thinking to myself, who's going to want a guy that got cut from his team as the coach of their team? And it was, and I think to this day, I think every coach you'd ever talk to, they're probably hiding it if they don't say, hey, there's a little bit of imposter syndrome of, but I remember vividly being like, I need to go to the business world. And then I always tell young coaches whenever they ask me about my path, I just say, get really good at say things that people can't live without and put yourself in the best environment you can. And for me, that was learning data volley, and was being put in an environment where I got done at Santa Barbara, and the assistant I was working with ended up, Liz Town Gilbert, changed my life. Ended up taking an assistant coaching job at the University of Southern California, and they called and they said, hey, before you get in the business world, we'll pay for your MBA. And I was like, I can't turn down free MBA. So I went to USC, and then a year later, someone asked me to talk to Hugh McCutcheon, and that same skill set kind of put me in that. And then it kind of put me down this path. And I knew I wanted to coach. It wasn't like at that time when I was like, hey, I'm not going to go do this. It was this game that I love. It was mentoring young people to go be great at something and teaching them to love the game that I love. And I always tell young people, whether it be volleyball or something else or coaching or some other part, find something that you love doing every single day. And all of a sudden work becomes this thing that's fulfilling and rewarding, not this thing that you're doing for money. And so it wasn't that I didn't want to do it. It was just, it was this imposter syndrome moment of like, who's going to want me? And I still have it every once in a while as I've coached around the world and done different things. It's like, man, like this has been really cool, but it's also, and I'm going to go back to that beginning piece. Like if there's young coaches that are listening, like you want to go get the best job sometimes, but I don't know, make the most money or be in the most prestigious place, like be in the place where you can learn the most. And I was really, really lucky at the beginning that, again, like early parts of my coaching career, I got to be around some of the great coaches, whether it be Kathy Gregory at UC Santa Barbara, Nick Haley at USC, and then being around Hugh and just the influx of people that came into that gym. I was just a sponge of information at the time.